Welcome back to the Cultural Curriculum Chat. Jebeh Edmunds, your host today, and I am so excited to share with you another book for elementary school students. It's titled Dia de los Muertos, and it's written by Rosanne Greenfield Tong and illustrated by Carlos Balesteros. Enjoy this book. The colors are just so whimsical, and it talks about this family in their celebration of Dia de los Muertos, which is in English, the Day of the Dead. It originated in Mexico, and it is a holiday that honors family members who have passed away. Just a beautiful depiction of the tradition of the Day of the Dead. What I love that the author has written the background information about Dia de los Muertos. And it talks about in the back of the book, Dia de los Muertos is celebrated on November 1st or 2nd in Mexico and other Latin American countries and communities, end quote. It is a day to remember and honor the dead and welcome their spirits home for a night. It talks more about reflecting more on their departed's lives with happiness rather than death. And in this tradition, families build altars and they go to their beloved's cemeteries and clean it up and have picnics and spend some time when their departed souls come down to visit for the evening. It really has a good glossary about some of the Spanish words and their translated definitions. It also talks about how you can see the different offerings that is given to the departed and the wonderful celebration at night of family members dressing up in costumes and enjoying the masquerade of it all, but also paying homage to those that have passed. I really love to dive more into this holiday myself and do more research on it. Rosanne did a wonderful job depicting her family tradition into the book. I think this is a really good depiction for students kindergarten through second grade. I'm going to do another episode of Dia de los Muertos for upper elementary to secondary students in those books that they should be reading and researching on to honor their classmates that also celebrate this tradition. I even know in my community in northern Minnesota that they have a celebration night in honor of Dia de los Muertos downtown. And I think it's at our city library, to be honest. They have lots of fire dancers, and it's just beautiful display for families to get together and celebrate. I really love this part of this quote in this book that they say when they are referring to the spirits that come back to visit, that they return to their world without sadness or fear, knowing that they'll stay in our hearts till next year. That is a beautiful send-off that these families can do every single year for their families that have left. Not only the veils and the costumes, but the parade. No one is afraid. It's at night. There's just that mystery behind it, but also the joy and the revelry of eating their departed's famous foods that they used to make. Here, the grandmother's fresh chicken stew and chocolatey brews that they have drank, and marigolds everywhere. The author has said has been over 3,000 years old, and she says that it stems from ancient traditions in the Aztec and other pre-Columbian groups. She goes on by saying that the ancient peoples believed in the afterlife and viewed death as part of life. something to be accepted and embraced. And then she goes on and talks about, to this day, children and adults celebrate Dia de los Muertos by having fun, painting faces, dressing up like ghosts, and mocking death. In this way, the whole pueblo or community can joyfully connect with departed relatives and friends. Thank you, Rosanne, for a wonderful depiction of your book, Dia de los Muertos, and the illustration, Carlos Balesteros, for creating a wonderful, joyous book that students should be able to have in their classroom libraries to honor this tradition. Some really cool facts that I found about the Day of the Dead. I found it on the Smithsonian website, Smithsonian Sparks. I'll have the information in the show notes. It talks about 5 facts about Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. And it says, the first one, it's not the same as Halloween. A lot of people in American society feel like it's just another version of Halloween, but it's not the same. Of course, in our American holiday, we celebrate Halloween on October 31st, but Dia de los Muertos is celebrated right after November 1st through November 2nd. So then there's families that celebrate both Halloween and Dia de los Muertos, but it's not the same. Another thing that I've spoken before is it did originate in Mexico and Central America. It's mostly celebrated in Mexico and some parts of Central and South America, but it's been increasingly popular among the Latinx and Latino communities and abroad in the United States. I like the idea that they have is a big symbol of the food that they celebrate and the symbols that commemorate this holiday. They use sugar skulls, and that is for their departed souls to have a sweet treat to eat. You'll see a lot of monarch butterflies, marigolds, and of course, like I said, the papel picado, the traditional paper banners. The fact of reiterating again, it's a celebration of life and not of death. And like the author says, it's mocking death and just knowing that death is a part of our life, but we're celebrating the life of the people that we've lost. It's filled with lots of music and dancing. You're going to see different types of dances. There's one dance of the jaguars, and it depicts farm workers hunting a particular jaguar. And of course, the ofrenda, or the altar, is one of the biggest focal points. And usually you see that to remember their loved ones, having pictures up of their dearly departed, but it is the central component. Families will set up a temporary altar in their homes and give little trinkets and things to give to the altar to provide for their families that what they're going to need on their journey to the afterlife. And so you'll see pictures. You'll also see belongings that belonged to their family member to serve as a reminder of their lives. What the Smithsonian shares, the 4 elements: water, wind, earth, and fire. So you'll see, and I quote, water that's left in a pitcher so that the spirits can quench their thirst. The traditional paper banner, there's holes in the paper that has shapes in it, and it represents the wind going through. The earth is represented by food, especially you'll see bread at the ofrenda. And of course, candles, often left in the form of a cross, can also represent the cardinal directions of north, south, east, and west, so the spirits can find their way. So you'll see all of those elements at the altar. The monarch butterflies are migrating to Mexico around this time of year, and they say that they believe that the monarch butterflies hold their spirits of their departed. And their belief stems from the fact, like I said, the first monarchs arrive in Mexico for winter each fall, get this, on November 1st, which coincides with the holiday. So I just am fascinated by learning about new traditions and new celebrations. And so I will have this article as well in the show notes. If you'd like to learn more about Dia de los Muertos, I will have wonderful website links for you in the show notes below to further your understanding. I also have lots of curriculum on my website, jebehedmunds.com/shop. I even have a lesson plan all about celebrations around the world. It is a unit plan that has over 15 different holidays. And one of the holidays is Dia de los Muertos that you and your students can enjoy. I have a kindergarten through second grade version, as well as a third through fifth grade lesson plan version that you can use with its own guidebook and coloring book and a slideshow that you can use in your classroom. So check it out. And that will also be information in the show notes that you can order this unit of celebrations around the world. Have a great day, and I will see you here same time next week. Bye-bye.